meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Chairman Beniak.
Here.
Legislator Duchessi.
Here.
Legislator Wheeler.
Here.
Legislator Isabel.
Here.
Legislator Patel.
Here.
Legislator Kelly.
Present.
Legislator Quackenbush. Legislator Diamond.
Here.
Legislator Whites.
Present. If we could stand to salute the flag, and would Legislator Diamond lead us in the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I'd like to recognize a former employee of the county who passed away on January 28th, John Jack Coons. He worked for Public Works for 38 years. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, do we have any public comment? Hearing none, I'll move on to the presentations. The first speaker we have is Scott Kyle. He's the commander of Chapter 446, Military Order of the Purple Heart. Scott?
Can I
Sure.
pull it towards me? Pull it towards me? Keep out and pull it towards me. Let me put my little hat on here. I was so happy when the Army got away from these things. My name is Scott Kyle. I'm a Sergeant First Class in the United States Army. I'm currently assigned to the New York Army National Guard's Logistics Division. So the J4, the G4, which is, let's just say during hurricanes, anything like that, we're the guys that get all the trucks and supplies and everything to the citizens and support the troops on the ground. In a combat zone, we're the guys that beans, bullets, clothing. That's our big thing. Traditionally, I'm an infantryman. I was a guy on the ground fighting, and I've come up through the ranks. I'm also a volunteer. I do a huge amount of stuff with the Boy Scouts through the mentoring program and the leadership program. But recently, I became more involved with VSOs, Veteran Service Organizations, which everybody knows as the VFW, American Legion, and a little unknown group called Military Order of the Purple Heart. Now, to become a member of that, you have to have unwantingly earned the Purple Heart. And if anybody doesn't know what the Purple Heart medal means, it means we screwed up, we got hurt by the enemy, and they gave us a medal for it. The Purple Heart, what's different with the Purple Heart than any other award that the DoD, the military, gives, is that it's an entitlement. If you get wounded in combat by enemy forces, you are due a Purple Heart medal. With that said, as we move on from big conventional warfare, World War I, World War II, and we move to now these small unit tactics, that group gets smaller and smaller and smaller. My last tour in Afghanistan, I had 12 guys, and we covered what used to be, back in the day, 1,500 personnel we covered, 1,500 soldiers. So we did a lot of moving, and on October 10th, 2008 is when I was unfortunately issued my Purple Heart. Now, the mission of the MOPH is to foster an environment of goodwill, camaraderie among combat wounded veterans, promote patriotism, support any necessary legislation initiative, but more importantly, provide service to all veterans and families. With that said, is we focus more on what can we do for the wounded veteran. We don't worry, I shouldn't say we don't worry, but we're not like the Legion that's trying to go out there and get better benefits for every single veteran, or the VFW, that what can we do for guys that deployed. We're more, what can we do for guys that got hurt and their families. With that said, is a few years ago they started the Purple Heart Trail, which is why I'm here tonight. This Purple Heart Trail was created actually for communities. It was to say, there are communities out there that go above and beyond to support our veterans, whether they deployed or they're just a stateside soldier or whatever they have done in their career, to support veterans in their communities. Because you have some towns that actually are giving school tax breaks to veterans. You have property tax breaks for veterans. You have different programs that are going on for veterans that the towns, not the state, not the federal government, but the towns and counties are doing. So with that said, is what can we do for those municipalities? So this Purple Heart Trail was created, designating roads, whole counties, everything else saying we're a Purple Heart this. And here today, as I'm asking that, we're talking with Andy and Carl, is that Montgomery County become a Purple Heart County. What that designation will give you is its recognition saying that not you supporting the vet, but the vet is supporting the county by giving this designation. This designation goes up through our channels, and since we are an organization chartered by Congress, we get funds every year. We actually get recognition from Congress. We approach Congress saying, hey, Montgomery County is a Purple Heart County, and we would like that put in record. And that's what they do for you. And it's another designation that Montgomery County can use for support and different things that we do in the community. So what the cost of the community is on this is simple signs. And if you look at your packet, you'll see some different signs. And the signs can be small or large, is that we just ask that a sign get put up saying that we're Purple Heart County. Now, like Erie County went out and bought these huge, I mean, they're like I-90, gigantic, 8-foot huge signs. I have no idea where they found these signs, but they're, because I've never seen them before. But it's something small, even just saying, hey, we're Purple Heart County, it would be awesome. Now, if you go to where it says Purple Heart areas in New York, my thing with Purple Heart, with the Purple Heart Trail is that I really believe that this should be something that not every municipality should get designated with. I think it's for municipalities that are actually going out there and helping veterans, and this is our way of saying thank you for that. Now, down Westchester County, every single village, town, everything down here is Purple Heart, and I know for a fact that they don't go above and beyond and trying to do stuff like you guys are by saying we want veterans living in the community. We do stuff for our vets. I think this is really more of an honor that we are coming out here, reaching out to the municipalities to say thank you for helping us. At this time, are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Sir.
One, the signage, is that anything that, we have a sign shop here in the county, we make our own road signs?
Yes, sir.
So could we make these signs? Or?
Yes, you can make them.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. With that said, that concludes my spiel about becoming a Purple Heart County. If on the last page is my contact information, scott.call@purpleheartalbany.org. Before, we're not just Albany anymore. Like I said, with chapters closing down, my footprint now goes from the Vermont-Massachusetts border all the way to Utica, just shy of Fort Drum, and all the way down to Newburgh. So we have a huge area that we cover and we try to support. With that said, it's hard since I'm actually at 37, I am the youngest guy in my organization. That if anybody knows of anything that we can possibly support within the community, please contact me and we'll try to get out here. We'll try to support, whether it be a parade or a carnival, a festival, anything like that. I'm trying to reach out, but with as large of a territory as we have now, it's very hard for me. Being I've only been in the Capital District per se for about 6 years now. Other than that, that's all I have. Sir.
Thank you for being here and thank you for your service. I think you're a little bit too humble. Okay?
This is actually very hard for people that don't like to talk.
Purple Heart is it's for combat wounded veterans. And in addition here, Scott has been awarded Bronze Star.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We're very appreciative of your being here to help us get started in this direction. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I actually have supporter pins for everybody who are thanking you to come. Let me give a little spiel. Thank you, sir, for your service. Thank you very much. Thanks. citizens of the county itself is we had a plaque made up that says, Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride to Montgomery County, New York for your dedication and support of honoring America's combat wounded veterans and for becoming a Purple Heart County, presented by Chapter 446.
Right, well, thank you. Pass it down.
And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, our next presentation is from Alan Walther from the Bonadil Group, and that's the dashboard report with the colored dots on it. It should be on your desk.
So the auditor gets to follow the board here.
Yeah, that's right.
Tough act to follow.
Right.
Just to introduce myself, my name is Alan Walther. I'm a partner with the Bonadil Group. We are the county's financial statement auditors as of 2014, from the 2014 fiscal year, as well as we were hired by the county to do some consulting regarding financial information that might be of value to the county legislature. I've met with Chairman Beniak a couple times talking about issues that affect the county, and we developed this dashboard that I developed to just kind of give you an idea of how the county is doing budget versus actual in various operating funds. So what I did here was I developed the dashboard, and then the county treasurer provided me all the information, dropped in the numbers for the month ending January 31st, 2016. And you can see, I gotta take my glasses off, I'm kind of in between the glasses here. So you can see at the bottom, the green obviously are favorable variances, the yellow are caution variances between 0 and 5% of the budget, and then the red is to consider action, a variance of greater than 5% of the budget. So we're 1 month into the year end, into the year, and just looking at the general fund information here, up top, the property taxes, we show a budget of $27,577,000. We show actual year-to-date of $27,577,000. That is not to be misleading. You have not collected all of your taxes, but the way that the accounting works is that all of the revenue is recognized. So when the tax levy is issued as of January 1st, the county records property tax revenue and then tax receivable. Down at the bottom of the page, I show the taxes taxes receivable. You can see there's $38 million in taxes receivable. That also includes school taxes and other taxes that the county collects. Property tax items, what that number represents is the pilots, interest, and the penalties that the county receives. That has a favorable variance so far this year. Sales tax, so far this year is nothing. All you've done in January was you received your December one, so you'll get, as the year goes by, that will come up closer to your $27.5 million budget. I'm not going to go through each and every one. I'll hit some of the larger numbers. State aid, the same type thing. We're 1 month into the year end. As we get further half the year, I think it'll come a little bit more focused. Same with federal aid and departmental income. What departmental income represents, in case you're not aware of everything that goes into that line item, that is clerk fees, social services repayments, garbage fees, that's probably the biggest piece, sheriff fees, that kind of thing. Intergovernmental charges. What that is predominantly is the money that the county collects for housing prisoners of other counties. That's of the $1.4 million budget, don't hold me to this exactly, I'm going to say about $1.2 million of that that is refunds of prior year's expenditures. On the expenditure side, the same type of thing. You're 1 month into the year. General government support. What that is, $20 million budgeted. The biggest chunk of that is a little bit over $12 million is sales tax. That's the sales tax money that the county shares with the towns. Okay, it's the largest piece of the general government support, and then everything else that supports the county is in there as well. The county legislature is a piece of that. The treasurer's office, the clerk, the district attorney, buildings, insurance, data processing, that kind of thing is kind of the catch-all. Is in the general support. Education. What that is predominantly is your community college expenditures. Public safety is pretty self-explanatory. Sheriff, probation, and the county jail. Health department, again, is self-explanatory. Transportation as well. Economic assistance. What is in economic assistance is primarily the social services programs that the county provides for its residents. The largest piece of that is Medicaid, the county share of Medicaid. And then home and community services, the largest piece of that is trash services. Fringe benefits, pretty self-explanatory. Debt service is pretty self-explanatory. Transfers out is the money that is transferred to from the general fund to other funds, predominantly the county road fund. So again, with the general fund, since you're 1 month in, all of these are going to be kind of fuzzy until we get 4 or 6 months into the year end, and then you'll get a better picture as to how the county is doing versus its budget. Please review this. Let me know if you'd like to make any changes. It's simply an Excel schedule and then dropping in the numbers each month from Sean Bauer and the county treasurer. You can see at the bottom as well, I plugged in, again from Sean, the assets and liabilities of the general fund as of the end of the month. I did not put the fund balance in because the fund balance would be very misleading because you've recognized all the tax revenue. You show a very large fund balance, but it's not really collected, so I left that piece out. As we get further into the year end, I think we will start to look at the fund balance, so that because I think that'll be useful information as the county begins to plan for 2017. So again, let me know as well if there's any changes you'd like to see. The next page is the road fund. The road fund again is 1 month into the year end. We haven't collected any revenue other than a $100,000 transfer. So as the year goes by, you will see the state aid is the CHIPS money, the highway money that comes from New York State, and then the transfers in is obviously the money that gets transferred in from the general fund. Likewise with the expenditures, 1 month in pretty good shape. The next page, pretty much the same story with the road machinery fund. Haven't recognized any revenue yet. Most of the revenue is inter-fund revenue, so that's charges to the general fund and the road fund for maintenance of equipment. And then finally, the last page is the sewer fund. Again, same story there as well. The sewer fees have not been recognized yet for the year. There's some property taxes that have been recognized. As the year goes by, that will come much more in focus. Okay? Any questions that I might be able to answer?
culture and recreation.
Culture and recreation, the 328,
You lost
I
it.
can't
Yeah.
think of exactly what it would be, museums,
Bike path and.
bike path, that kind of
And
thing.
stuff like that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
I just want to say, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but this really isn't very effective until you get a few months into the year.
Exactly.
I don't want the press to go out and be panicky because there's red dots at certain things.
It needs to be taken for what it is.